The old house stood alone, silent, watching. Locals knew its story, a tale whispered with bated breath. It was a tale of tragedy, of a family torn apart by their own desires. They said the house never forgot. The house never forgave. Children dared each other to approach, giggling nervously before scurrying away. Even the bravest soul avoided Hollow Creek Road after dark. The house held on to its secrets, its sorrow a palpable weight that settled over anyone foolish enough to get close.
Amelia clutched the worn photograph tighter, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. The image, faded and creased, was the only tangible link to a past she barely understood. The house loomed before her, its silhouette stark against the twilight sky. It seemed to whisper secrets of a bygone era, secrets that Amelia was both eager and terrified to uncover. A shiver, colder than the autumn air, danced down her spine. The wind rustled through the trees, carrying with it the scent of fallen leaves and distant memories. She had no choice. The answers she craved, the truth she desperately sought about her family history, lay within those decaying walls. Every step forward was a step closer to understanding the mysteries that had haunted her for years. Drawing a fortifying breath, Amelia pushed open the creaking gate. The sound echoed in the stillness, a reminder of the isolation that surrounded her. Each step towards the house felt heavy, as if she were wading through unseen resistance. The path, overgrown and neglected, seemed to challenge her resolve with every inch. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and decay. It was a tangible presence, almost as if the house itself was breathing, exhaling years of abandonment. It was an odor that spoke of neglect and the passage of time, of secrets buried deep and best left undisturbed. The peeling paint and moss-covered walls were silent witnesses to the years of solitude. Yet Amelia pressed on, her fear a distant hum compared to the urgency that pulsed within her. Determination etched on her face, she knew that turning back was no longer an option.
Inside, cobwebs clung to every surface like ghostly shrouds. Dust lay thick on the floor, undisturbed for years. The air hung still and silent, heavy with the weight of anticipation. Amelia moved cautiously, her footsteps echoing unnaturally in the oppressive quiet. She was searching for a silver locket, a family heirloom passed down through generations. According to the stories, it was the key to unlocking the truth about her family's past. A past shrouded in whispers and shadowed by tragedy. Each room she entered seemed to hold its breath, watching her, judging her. She imagined eyes peering from the shadows, unseen presences following her every move. The hair on the back of her neck prickled with a chilling awareness that she was not alone.
A floorboard creaked above her head, followed by the distinct sound of footsteps. Amelia froze, her blood turning to ice. Holding her breath, she strained to listen. The sound came again, slow and deliberate, moving across the ceiling above her. "Hello!" Her voice emerged as a shaky whisper, barely audible in the oppressive silence. There was no answer, only the echo of her own fear reverberating around her. Yet the footsteps continued, circling her like a predator stalking its prey. She imagined eyes peering from the shadows, unseen presences following her every move. A cold draft brushed past her cheek, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and something else. Something distinctly floral, like lilies. The scent of morning. Panic welled up inside her, threatening to consume her.
She stumbled into a small, dusty room, her breath catching in her throat as she took in the eerie surroundings. Moonlight spilled through a crack in the boarded-up window, casting an ethereal glow that illuminated a tarnished silver locket resting on a table in the center of the room. It was more ornate than she imagined, engraved with an intricate design that seemed to writhe and shift in the dim light, almost as if it were alive. As she reached for it, her fingers brushed against a scrap of yellowed parchment, brittle and fragile from age. It was a note, written in a spidery hand, the ink faded with time, barely legible in the dim light. "Turn back," it read, "while you still can." The words sent a chill down her spine. "Some truths are best left buried," the note seemed to whisper, echoing in the silence of the room. Ignoring the warning that screamed at her from the page, Amelia snatched up the locket, her curiosity overpowering her sense of caution. It was cold and heavy in her hand, sending a shiver down her spine as if it carried the weight of countless untold stories. As her fingers closed around it, the shadows in the room seemed to deepen and the temperature plummeted, wrapping her in an icy embrace.
A guttural growl echoed through the house, the sound ancient and filled with rage, reverberating through the empty halls and sending shivers down Amelia's spine. Amelia whirled around, her heart pounding against her ribs like a drum, each beat a desperate plea for escape. The shadows were no longer still. They seemed to pulse with a life of their own, creeping closer with every passing second. They writhed and twisted, taking on grotesque shapes that seemed to reach out towards her, their dark tendrils almost tangible in the dim light. Terror lent speed to her steps as she fled back through the house, her lungs burning with exertion, her mind a whirlwind of fear and desperation. The shadows gave chase, their forms growing ever more menacing, their presence a constant threat looming over her. She could feel their cold, unseen fingers brushing against her skin, their icy breath on her neck, sending chills down her spine. Bursting out of the house and into the night, Amelia didn't stop running until she reached the safety of her car, her only sanctuary from the horrors within. As she sped away, the old house on Hollow Creek Road disappeared from view, swallowed by the darkness, its sinister presence lingering in her mind. But the feeling of being watched, of being hunted remained, a constant reminder of the terror she had narrowly escaped. And clutched tightly in her hand was the silver locket, a chilling reminder of the truth she had sought and the terror she had found, a symbol of the darkness that still pursued her.